Ladies and gentlemen, why don't we kind of take seats for those seats that aren't filled yet, and maybe folks could kind of gather in this direction. Good. Can you hear okay? We're going to have some competition from the traffic out here, but I think it sounds like the PA system is working very, very well. Good. Hey, look, before we do anything else, let's give a big round of applause to the OHS pep band under the direction of Scott Pearson. We'll be hearing from them later on, but that was a terrific warm-up to this wonderful event. Well, my name's Gary Alexander, and I'm a proud member of the Olympia High School class of 1954, and you will know... Hey, thanks, Charlie. And you will note that I'm appropriately clad in, what, blue and white here today. It's really my pleasure to welcome all of you to this event in which we will together dedicate a memorial to a building that was located on this very site back here for over 40 years. It was, of course, William Winlock Miller High School, commonly known as Olympia High School. And it was a great building. I think we would all agree to that. And from 1919 to 1960, it was the seat of learning for the thousands of young men and women from Olympia, Tumwater, Lacey, and the surrounding area. And South Bay, yes. How can we forget? One of our greatest football players came from there, Bill Steiger. We wouldn't have won the state championship without him. But I think it's worth remembering that for most of the time that building was there, it was the only public high school in the area. There was no North Thurston, no Timberline, no Tumwater, no Black Hills, no River Ridge or Capitol. Have I named them all? I think that's all the schools there are today. And it was the only public high school. The building was built in two phases. The first was the portion of the building that faced Capitol Way, and I think it's pictured on your program. That portion was completed in 1919 and was the successor of the first William Winlock Miller High School, or Olympia High School, which was located on property donated by Mary McFadden Miller in memory of her husband, William Winlock Miller. And that old building was located on the Capitol campus near the World War I monument and the sunken garden in that general area. The second phase of the building that we're remembering today was completed a decade or so after 1919, and it housed, among other things, the gymnasium and that large auditorium that I think most of us here today will remember very fondly. It had a great, Principal Grant, it had a great auditorium. By the way, who among the alums here, I just want alums to answer this, what were the words that were written over the proscenium arch in the auditorium? Exactly, it takes work to get an education. Yeah. Probably today, Principal, it takes education to get work, probably too. Yeah. By the way, okay, let me ask a few questions. In our audience today, how many in the audience, raise your hand if you attended Olympia High School in the building that we are remembering today over here? Okay, down. How many here in the audience attended or maybe are still attending the new Olympia High School out on North Street? Okay. And I guess the final question, how many among the audience, whether you went to Olympia High School or not, are Olympia High boosters? Every hand should go up right now. Okay. I know that among those of us who attended that great old building that sat over here behind where I am now, there are a lot of nostalgic feelings about that building and what went on in it over the years. But we want this to be a happy occasion, one that will be capped off today by a reception that will take place right after we adjourn here at the current Olympia High School, which is located between Carline and Avenue and North Street. To start our program today officially, I want to call on Boy Scout Troop number 48. They're assembled right over there. The leader of the troop is Dave Wellman. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, if you'll join me in the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. Let's give a big hand for Troop 48. Thank you, Mr. Wolf.
Retire the colors.
In the old Olympia High School, the boys' lockers were on one side of the building, and the girls' lockers were on the other side. Is that still true today? No.
We had to disband that.
Yeah, disbanded that idea, I'm sure. And the main hallways in the building on each floor ran east and west, and that was kind of the line of demarcation between the boys' lockers and the girls' lockers. Not entirely the line of demarcation between contact between boys and girls, but their lockers. Okay, the question is, okay, as you entered the building from Capitol Way, and I want one of the women to answer this, were the girls' lockers on the right-hand side or on the left-hand side? Right, absolutely. Right is right. And you know, Principal, when you were a freshman, you got assigned a locker way down in the bowels of the building, down in the basement somewhere, and you longed for the day that you might have a locker on King's Row or Queen's Row. You remember the lockers that were there? Those were the lockers that were closest to the main entrance to the building, and also the principal's office was right there. And that was sort of a prestige factor if you could be on King's Row or Queen's Row. We are honored today by the presence of some elected and appointed officials, and I want to introduce them. And this is always dangerous business because you can forget somebody or not notice somebody, and there may be people who we thought were going to be here who are not here. We had thought that the mayor of Olympia, Doug Ma, was going to be here today. Is the mayor here? Don't see him. Okay. We are very pleased, of course, and I want you to stand. We have the current principal, and who's doing a great job at Olympia High School, the current principal of Olympia High School, Matt Grant. Stand up, Matt. Great to have you here. Great to have you here. I want you to do something about those lockers over. They got to be separated. Boys on the left, girls on the right. Okay. Oh, they don't have lockers anymore. Okay. I want to introduce the director of the Washington State Department of General Administration, Linda Bremer. I know Linda's here somewhere. Yes, Linda. Let's give Linda. Yeah, I don't know if you know this, but the Department of General Administration is the custodian of all of the buildings on this state capitol campus, and really all state properties. And so nothing takes place on this campus, including putting up memorials, unless you have worked with GA and have received their approval and the approval, in many instances, of the Capitol Committee. So thanks to you and your department, Linda, for allowing us to place this memorial here. The person in the Department of General Administration, I don't know if she's here or not, who was assigned to work with the Standing Committee in the development of the memorial is Mary Grace Jennings. Mary Grace. You know, we have at least one elected official here because I saw him come in, and he's a graduate of Olympia High School. George Barner, a port commissioner. And my classmate, former state senator, Del Bosch. Where are you, Del? I do want to introduce the president of the Olympia High School Alumni Board, Charlie Curie, who's right here taking pictures.